left there with my thoughts. And the image of you being with someone else, well, it's eating me up inside. But we ran our course, we pretended we're okay. Now if we jump together, at least we can swim far away from the wreck we made. Then only for a minute I want to change my mind, 'cause this just don't feel right to me. I wanna raise your spirits, I want to see you smile. No, that means I'll have to leave. No, that means I'll have to leave. Lately, I've been thinking, I want you to be happier, I want you to be happier. So I'll go, I will go. So I'll go, I will go. Lately, I've been thinking, I want you to be happier, I want you to be happier. Even though I might not like this, I think that you'll be happier, I want you to be happier. Then only for a minute I want to change my mind, 'cause this just don't feel right to me. I wanna raise your spirits, I want to see you smile. No, that means I'll have to leave. No, that means I'll have to leave. Lately, I've been thinking, I want you to be happier, I want you to be happier. So I'll go, I will go.
On a Saturday night in the summer, sundown and they all come out. Lamborghinis in their red hummus. The party's on, so they're heading downtown. Everybody's looking for a come up, and they wanna know what you're about. Me in the middle with the one I'm loving. We're just trying to figure everything out. We don't fit in well, 'cause we are just ourselves. I could use some help getting out of this conversation. Yeah, you look stunning, dear, so don't ask that question here. This is my only fear, that we become beautiful people. Top designer clothes, front row fashion shows. What you do and who'd you know? Inside the world of beautiful people. Champagne and rolled up nose, prenups and broken homes. Surrounded but still alone. Let's leave the party. That's not who we are. We are not beautiful. Yeah, that's not who we are. We are not beautiful.
Drove for hours last night and we made it nowhere. I see stars in your eyes when we're halfway there. Oh, nah, I'm not fazed by all the lights and flashy cameras. 'Cause with my arms around you, there's no need to care. We don't fit in well, we are just ourselves. I could use some help getting out of this conversation. Yeah, you look stunning, girl, so don't ask that question here. This is my only fear, that we become
Beautiful people.
Top designer clothes, front row fashion shows. What you do and who'd you know? Inside the world of
Beautiful people.
champagne and rolled up nose, prenups and broken
Good morning, colleagues. Good morning, colleagues. We are kindly requesting that all those that are seated at the back, if you can please move to the front as the program is about to commence. Thank you.
We are starting with our program. Honorable Premier for the province of KwaZulu-Natal, Mr. Zigalala, Honorable MEC for Social Development, Mama Ukoza, our chairperson for the Central Drug Authority, Umama Umanyatula Koza, and all the dignitaries that are present here today, colleagues and officials, good morning. We are starting our program now. Our program is not long. We are very much excited that this day has finally come. At this point in time, we will then request Mrs. Mhlongo to welcome the delegates that are here today. My name is Nelisiwe Vilakazi. I'll be managing the program for you this morning. Asimsukumiseni ke ngezandla khona ezokhuthala ukuza ngapha. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Program Director Sanbonani. Ninjani this morning, a beautiful morning in Durban. I just would like to pass my greetings to our Honorable Premier, Ubaba Uzigalala phakathi kwethu. Thank you very much, Baba Uzigalala, as well as our MEC, Umama Unonhlanhla Khoza. And our chairperson for the CDA, Umama Manyathula Khoza, all distinguished guests that are with us here, the members of the Provincial Substance Abuse Forum, and all other departments and that are with us here today. Mine is a very small one because I'm just going to be welcoming you all in this very exciting program that we have today. We have not had a substance abuse forum for quite a while, so it's very exciting that as KZN and particularly as the Department of Social Development, who has been given this task to ensure that we fight the scourge of substance abuse in the province. I'm just going to do acknowledgements of some of our distinguished guests that are with us here. Starting with Ubaba Zigalala, the Premier of KwaZulu-Natal, as I have indicated. Thank you very much, Baba Zigalala, that you are with us. Our MEC in the province, Umama Unonhlanhla Khoza, is Kwishi Sethu Saka Social Development. Thank you very much, Mam Khoza. We also have in our midst, Councillor PMS Ngubane, who's the mayor of Umzinyathi District Municipality, Umangabe Esefikile. We would like to acknowledge him. We also have Umama Umanyathula Khoza, who's the chairperson of the Central Drug Authority, who's also the former Gauteng MEC for Social Development. Thank you very much, Ma'am Manyathula. We also have Mrs. Vilakazi, who's our program director today, who's the head of the Department of Social Development. We also have in our midst Ms. Mayangu, who's the chief director from Victim Empowerment, Substance Abuse and Social Crime Prevention from the National Department of Social Development. We also have Mr. S. Jabavu, who's the Acting Regional Executive Manager for SASA, who's part of the portfolio for social development in the province. We also have Miss Yoni Swandima, who's the Provincial Manager for National Development Agency, also part of the portfolio for social development. We also have our most important members of this gathering today, who are the members of the Provincial Anti-Substance Abuse Forum that are with us here. Thank you very much that you are all here. The officials from the various government departments including the South African Police Services that are with us here, as well as the members of the media. There's one person, my apologies that we have missed that. We've got one member who's also a member of the Central Drug Authority and is representing us as the province of KZN, Dr. Guru Kitnesemi. My apologies. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, colleagues. We believe that we are going to be having a very coordinated and good program today. Thank you so much. Thank you, Program Director.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Mhlongo. Ngicela simshayele izandla futhi siyabonga. Thank you. At this point in time, we would like to request the chairperson of the Central Drug Authority, Mrs. Mayatula Khoza, to make a presentation around the National Drug Master Plan. Thank you very much. Can we welcome Mrs. Mayatula Khoza?
Sanbonani, Molweni, Dumela, Abshe, Dimatekwa. Hayi ngathi ama-language awavuki Honorable Premier la eKwaZulu-Natal. Kusho ukuthi kusazofuneke ngibuye ngizofundisa. Yes, ngiyabonga kakhulu. Good morning to you all. Allow me to acknowledge the Honorable Premier of KwaZulu-Natal, Honorable Zikalala, here with us. I would like to acknowledge the Honorable MEC for Social Development, Mekhoza, Isbongo Fanana, and we haven't met. But I'm happy to meet her today as my in-law, sister-in-law. The Honorable MEC for Agriculture and Rural Development, members of the legislature present, Mrs. Mhlongo, who has welcomed us this morning, Councillor Sibia, Councillor Ngubane, and all other councillors present this morning. The head of departments, the Deputy Director General, and all other government officials. We also have CDA officials with us. My colleagues in the CDA board, Dr. Guru, leaders and members of the civil society present, people who use drugs, South African network of people who use drugs if they are present, because we have Honorable MEC and Honorable Premier launched the KwaZulu-Natal South African network of people who are using drugs. We were in Amajuba to launch that with the Deputy Minister. Members of the media, ladies and gentlemen, we have been requested and we are very humbled to be here to present the National Drug Master Plan. The two of us from the CDA will present it, but we are aware that we've been given an allocated time and we will stick to that time. So we have indeed been requested to share with you the National Drug Master Plan and focusing on the institutional mechanisms as well as the role of the Provincial Substance Abuse Forum. We have Honorable MEC requested that we also cover the local drug action committees because those structures are also very, very important. So just a little bit of background to the National Drug Master Plan. It was launched by the Honorable Minister of Social Development, Umam Zulu, last year on the 26th of June, 2020. It was the International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking. And there is a long history to the National Drug Master Plan, but just to save time, I'm not going to go through that history. Because we align ourselves to the United Nations conventions, we align ourselves to the AU conventions, and we align ourselves to the legislation of our country in South Africa. In the main, the legislation that informs the work that we do is the Prevention of and Treatment for Substance Abuse Act number 70 of 2008. So just a little bit of the situational analysis. We all know that the world drug problem and response continues to present challenges to the health, safety, and well-being of people in South Africa. South Africa has now become a consumer, a producer, and transit country for drugs. And we also are aware, Honorable Premier and MEC, that socio-economic factors such as poverty, inequality, and unemployment are contributing elements to the increased use of drugs in our country and development of substance use disorders, because we know that those who use drugs amongst us will then develop various kinds of disorders, and these are called substance use disorders. We are aware also that once South Africa uses the same kinds of drugs as the rest of the world, the following drugs in South Africa are popular. Alcohol is number one, which is the most widely used psychoactive substance, and because of that, you are aware that in our country, 58% of deaths on South Africa roads are attributed to alcohol abuse. We're not saying that it's wrong to drink alcohol, but if you drink it excessively and you can't even concentrate and you engage in an accident, then it becomes a problem. We know that alcohol is legal in South Africa. That's why people drink it, but we need to not drink it excessively and abuse it. Secondly, cannabis is by far the most used illicit drug on the South African streets throughout the country. And then we have the white pipe, which is a mixture of drugs and marijuana, which is widely used drug in South Africa. And then we have nyaupe. In Gauteng, we call it nyaupe. I'm told here in KwaZulu-Natal, we call it wunga. But when we were at Amajuba with the Deputy Minister, I was told there's something else called ingiti. But on a daily basis, these drugs are manufactured on the streets of South Africa. And then we have cocaine and other drugs that are used in our country. And we are informed that there is a new drug called Ingrika, lean, which consists of Sprite and cough mixture and codeine. So users are always ahead of us and always create new drugs. That's why it is important for all of us to be aware of these new drugs and be able to create awareness in the communities of the dangers of these drugs. So very briefly, before we speak about the institutional arrangement, Honorable Program Director, MEC and Premier, the National Drug Master Plan's vision is a South Africa free from substance abuse. You know that that's a long call, but we will get there. It will take us many, many years, but that's what we envisage, to have a South Africa free from substance abuse. And the mission of the National Drug Master Plan is to embrace a balanced, integrated, and evidence-based approach, invest in building safer communities, control the demand and supply of substances, invest substances for therapeutic use, and coordinate and combat substance abuse. And then we also continue to say that the National Drug Master Plan is utilizes the multi-sectoral approach. It recognizes that the relationship between drug control and human development is complex, and it requires a coordinated and multi-sectoral approach. It acknowledges diverse social, economic, and cultural contexts that consider the human rights and expectations of all citizens. When engaged in communities, the goal is based on human rights. Gone are the days where we were saying, people who are abusing drugs must just be locked up, they must be punished. We're no longer about that. We are now about, knowing that it is a health problem, and the drug users, the service users must be assisted in that regard. The National Drug Master Plan response includes the prevention of social marginalization and promotion of non-stigmatization attitudes, because they told us when we met with them, people who use drugs, that we must stop stigma. We must stop calling them onyaupe, call them names, because in that way they'll never change, they'll never improve their lives, but we must actually assist them. The approach is supported by effective law enforcement to create a South Africa where people are and feel safe from the harms associated with drugs. The goals of the National Master Plan are the following: to reduce demand for drugs through prevention and treatment, to reduce the supply of drugs through multi-sectoral cooperation, to ensure availability of and access to drugs intended for medical use and scientific use, to identify trends and control of new psychoactive substances, promote governance, leadership, and accountability for an effective response, strengthen data collection, monitoring, evaluation, and research evidence for an evidence-based response. And the last goal is to stimulate robust and sustainable economic growth aimed at reducing poverty, unemployment, and inequality. The National Drug Master Plan is also has principles that whenever we do the work in the field of substance abuse, we must be guided by these principles. The principles of human rights-based, we must respect, protect, and promote human rights, including human rights of the people who use drugs in our country, who abuse drugs in our country. Evidence-based, the plan will require new evidence to adapt it. So there must be research from time to time that tells us what the situation is, what the trends are in our country, and therefore how do we respond. Multi-sectoral and multilateral in that cooperation of every stakeholder is key. People-centered. The plan puts people first in addressing harm associated with substance use disorders, as well as inclusive and participatory. People who use drugs and communities must also be consulted, and we are happy to say that when the National Drug Master Plan was developed, people who use drugs are the most people who made an input and contribution to the National Drug Master Plan, including all the other stakeholders that were consulted. So the priorities of the National Drug Master Plan in terms of the target population includes young people, children, women, people with disabilities, pregnant women, families in all their manifestations, including child-headed families, disadvantaged people in vulnerable communities, occupational groups at risk, such as artists, athletes, and professionals, and key populations such as the LGBTIQ, the sex workers, as well as the migrant workers. So when we do the work, we need to ensure that we reach out to these groups of people and assist them. So coming to the institutional mechanism, we would like to share with you that CDA is the custodian of the National Drug Master Plan. We are hosted by the National Social Development Department, and we report directly to the Social Development Minister and to Parliament as well. And we do want to thank KwaZulu-Natal Honorable MEC and Premier that we have really assisted us a great deal in putting together the annual report that we've just submitted a few days ago to the Minister, and the Minister is now able to submit it to the Cabinet and to Parliament. So we really would like to congratulate you on that, and thank you ever so much for cooperating with us. It really assists us to do our work. The CDA is comprised of 21 national departments, and we are expected to work very closely with and monitor the performance of the 9 provincial substance abuse fora, which are established by the Provincial MEC. And at this point in time, we also would like to congratulate the KwaZulu-Natal province as a trender in terms of establishing the Provincial Substance Abuse Forum. Congratulations, and we look forward to the success of this forum. The country is also expected to have 328 local drug action committees that are established by the executive mayors and supported by the municipality. And we're looking forward to ensure that all these local drug action committees are in place. To coordinate the country's effort towards a South Africa free of drug abuse, the National Drug Master Plan is an implementation plan with key deliverables, key actions, and key performance indicators that should be carried out by all the stakeholders that I've spoken about. To oversee, coordinate, monitor, and evaluate these country efforts, outcomes, and to measure the impact, the National Drug Master Plan also has a monitoring and evaluation framework with annual targets for each deliverable. The provincial social development are expected to ensure that all relevant provincial departments participate in the implementation of the National Drug Master Plan. And I'm happy, MEC, to say that with the report that we received from KwaZulu-Natal, a lot of departments in the province are participating in the implementation of the National Drug Master Plan, and we want to congratulate you on that. I say that because with the reports from some of the provinces, other departments are not cooperating. in terms of the implementation of the National Drug Master Plan. The CDA board has established the executive committee with exercises executive and duties of the CDA in between CDA meetings, and we also have established 6 committees that make recommendations to the CDA board. CDA also engages with the international stakeholders to share information and knowledge in addressing substance abuse. And I do want, therefore, to conclude by saying that these are the organizations, the key stakeholders, key players, the implementers, and professional councils that we as the Central Drug Authority work with. But most importantly, it's those national departments as well as the provinces led by the Department of Social Development. Just to show you the diagram on the institutional mechanism, can you just move to the last slide for me? Yes, so this is how we are organized. As you can see, CDA reports to the minister. We get public input. We get input from the departments and the provinces. We are able to monitor the outcomes of the National Drug Master Plan. And we also have the 9 provincial substance abuse forums that are established and led by the MEC for social development in the provinces. We, as I've indicated, we also have those 328 local drug action committees that must be in place, and we are available as CDA to assist you in putting those LDACs in place. We also work with NGOs and communities who make an input to the National Drug Master Plan, and they implement it as well. At this point in time, may I, through you, Program Director, just allow the CDA member, Dr. Guru, just to take us through the provincial substance abuse forums, what they are, what their functions are. Thank you very much for listening.
The program director, all protocols have been observed. It's a privilege to be here on behalf of the Central Drug Authority to address you today. Actually, I follow the appearance of the MEC and the Premier on TV, and we are so privileged to see them here live and in person. So we go back to our families and say to them how active a role these leaders are playing in our community and in our country. I feel much at home here. CDA, although the Secretariat is in Pretoria, I come from north of the Tugela, in a place called Felixton in Zululand. So my roots are always out here in KZN, Durban. And we would like KZN to be the province that will shine throughout South Africa, the one province that will shine throughout South Africa, and you have been invited here. Hopefully will play such a role on the provincial and local district level to make that happen. I'd like to just talk about the Provincial Substance Abuse Forum that's been established, and it provides for the establishment of each province in each PSAF in each province. The PSAF is the Provincial Substance Abuse Forums, and these are appointed by the MEC. And they are drawn from all sectors of our population, from education, community action, legislation, law enforcement, policy making, research and treatment, the business community, and any other body interested in addressing substance abuse. So we could see that they are very well represented from every voice in the community. We also have adequate and sustained funding for the PSAF, and this is provided by the Provincial Department of Social Development. And we are hoping that this funding will enable more people to get involved in the LDACs and at the provincial level. The functions of the Provincial Substance Abuse Forum, and some of you might be elected onto that forum, you may want to know are the following: to strengthen member organizations to carry out functions related directly or indirectly to addressing the problem of substance abuse, to encourage networking and the effective flow of information between PSAF members, to assist local drug authority committees, and to compile and submit an integrated provincial drug master plan for the province concerned, and to submit reports and inputs to the Central Drug Authority, and to assist the CDA in carrying out our functions at a provincial level. Now, often we find people who are critics of change, and here we have an opportunity to make the changes ourselves. So those of us who wish to go onto LDACs or to the provincial committees can make a difference in our country, and here is an opportunity for you to do so. Just to inform you that the Executive Committee is made up of members from treatment and aftercare service users, and I see some of you are present here. Members from the members responsible for the prevention of substance abuse and education of service users and members of the public. Members responsible for community development. Members responsible for research and information dissemination on substance abuse. And representatives of persons abusing or dependent on substances and persons affected by substance abuse. Our chairperson alluded to destigmatizing people who use substances, and therefore now we're giving them a voice to be represented on this body as well. The Executive Committee may, subject to the directions of the PCAF, exercise all the powers and perform all duties of the PCAF. It's a very responsible position, but a very essential one. And we note that decisions taken by the authority of the executive can be changed, as in any other meetings and organizations, at a subsequent full meeting of the PCAF. The Executive Committee may also make rules in relation to the holding of its meetings, so there is flexibility in the organization of the PCAF. The PCAF holds meetings quarterly. Special meetings can be convened when the need arises. The minutes of such meetings shall be circulated by the Secretariat within 10 working days after the meeting. The invitations and agenda of the meeting will be circulated by the Secretariat to all committee members 2 weeks before the meeting. So one could see it is very highly organized. You have your notices on time. All meetings will be chaired by the PCF Secretary, and the quorum will be 50+1, so that we could have a democratic decision-making process. Now we look at accountability. Any organization or government needs to be accountable to the people. The Provincial Committee, PCAF, shall be accountable to the member of the Executive Council, that's MEC, responsible for social development. And adequate and sustained funding should be provided by the provincial department responsible for social development. So the budgeting going forward will provide for this. Any member of the PCAF who is not employed in the public service, as in full-time employment, will be paid by the HUD for traveling and subsistence allowances while attending meetings. I know some of you here come from out of Durban, far and wide, and so if you are interested in joining us, your costs would be borne. The committee shall also provide quarterly meetings to the MEC concerning their actions, progress, problems, and any other related matter. They shall also submit reports and inputs in accordance with the CDA program, timelines for the CDA for the purposes of the CDA's quarterly and annual reports. You know, of course, the CDA compiles the reports based on all the provinces and the LDACs, and this is submitted to the minister, and then it goes to cabinet. Therefore, if there's a weak link amongst us, somehow that report can be interrogated at a very high level. Hence, we need to be responsible in what we're doing and how we are carrying out our mandates. Looking at the Local Drug Action Committee, they are constituted in terms of the Prevention and Treatment of Substance Abuse Act 70 of 2008, Section 60. In implementing the NDMP, the CDA is mandated to support the establishment of the Provincial Substance Abuse Forums and the Local Drug Action Committee. The CDA's implementing structures are the Provincial Substance Abuse Forums, the Local Drug Action Committees, as well as national and provincial departments. Basically, the LDAC is responsible for the local action in their communities, in their municipalities, in their wards, and we are including areas that the traditional leaders are responsible for as well. The composition of the LDAC is made up of various government departments, which includes the SAPS, correctional services, educational institutions, prevention, treatment, and aftercare bodies, local health authorities, business sector, legal and professional persons, and the local traditional authority. You could see that a diverse sector is invited to be a part of it, simply because they will come with their expert knowledge, and pooling this together, we have a very rich pot of information that we could utilize. We will also utilize the NGOs, non-governmental organization, community-based organization, and the faith-based organizations as well will be invited. Any other individual or interested with substance abuse are welcome. The committee should co-opt additional members with special expertise, and they can also form part of this existing structure. So we notice that it's a very transparent organization that is there to encourage people to join, and if you have experience, if you have qualifications, if you have a special interest, you're welcome to join them. The local governments should drive the establishment of the LDACs. The Provincial Department of Social Development provides support to the LDAC. And there is going to be a launch of the LDACs in the various areas where the mayor will appoint members from those that stakeholders that have indicated they wish to join them. We're also planning a workshop to be held in which we're going to do capacity building in KZN. So this is on the cards as well. There will be a meeting with all stakeholders. A committee will then be formed to drive the LDACs in the various areas. So each stakeholder presents his role and responsibilities in relation to substance abuse, and the LDACs, of course, will be linked to the KZN Provincial Abuse Forum. We will have follow-up meetings where the EXCO will be elected from amongst the stakeholders. There will be a portfolio committee consisting of not less than 4 persons coming from the community development, prevention and education, treatment and aftercare and research areas. The LDAC is flexible enough to make the rules that will govern their functioning. Our target population is the youth, vulnerable groups, and we see there's a high degree of unemployment, and substance abuse is actually perpetuating this. We also look at various communities, occupational groups that may be at risk. So your work in the LDAC must be result-orientated. We should see a progress, we should see a change in your community. We need to focus on contributions at the various local levels. And currently, we would ask progress to be reported to the PCAF in September and March of each year. The priority areas that you will be concerned with is crime and violence related to substance abuse, and we've seen much of gender-based violence resulting from substance abuse. So substance abuse needs to be considered a priority, and other forms of abuse and dependence problems. I see some people from the treatment centers are present. They will appreciate that as well. We need to provide target populations with access to prevention, treatment, and aftercare, as well as integrating them within society. The legislation, policies, and protocols across the spectrum of alcohol and drug supply should be a priority, including monitoring and evaluation, community development, future research and information dissemination, as well as networking with professional education, policy issues, and networking. Now, in terms of the Section 61, the functions of the LDAC is to ensure that effect is given to the NDMP in the relevant municipality, to compile an action plan to combat substance abuse in the relevant municipality in cooperation with provincial and local government. We also need to ensure that its action plan is in line with the priorities and objectives of the integrated provincial drug master plan, and that it is aligned with the strategies of government departments. The bottom line is that it's got to implement its action plan. Annually, they need to provide a report to the PCAF and to report on action taken, progress registered, challenges encountered, and recommendations. They need to give regular reports through the PCAF to the Secretariat concerning its actions, progress, and problems and other drug-related events in their areas. Also, to provide information from time to time to be required by the CDA through the PCAF, and to provide through the province information and annual reports to the CDA. Now, the strategic approach is the demand, supply, and harm reduction. That is the demand for substances, where it's coming from, and what it's doing to our people. So we need to work in organizational clusters to integrate the implementation of these strategies. We need to deliver measurable outcomes at the level of local communities, regions, provinces, and at national level. We need to deliver measurable outcomes in the short, medium, and long term as required by the NDMP. We are also considering capacity building for the LDACs, and in this regard, we will look at understanding the nature of substance abuse, understanding the impact of substance abuse on individuals, families, and communities, and understanding the legal framework around this. The CDA, with the assistance of the Secretariat, is responsible to monitor the functionality of the LDACs, as well as to provide support where necessary to improve the status quo. Monitoring is conducted at provincial and local level. Monitoring of the LDACs aims to assist in improving the progress of the progress report of the provinces in the implementation of the National Drug Master Plan and dealing with the scourge of substance abuse. The LDACs will provide reports to the Provincial Forum, which will then be submitted to the CDA for the development of an annual report submitted to Cabinet. And therefore, it is important that all of us put our shoulders to the wheel in order to achieve this. In summary, we indicated that we've referred to the 2019-2024 NDMP. We've looked at the strategic intent that was indicated by the NDMP utilizing the multi-sectoral approach, which acknowledged diverse social, economic, and cultural contexts that considers the human rights and expectations of all citizens. The presentation on the PCAF indicated the functions of the PCAF and the issue of accountability. The province is therefore expected to be accountable and comply in terms of implementing the NDMP and provide reports on a quarterly and annual basis. Province is also expected to support the establishment and strengthening of the local drug action committees, and the Department of Social Development should comply by providing financial support to the forum members who may not be employed in the public sector for items such as traveling, subsistence allowance while attending meetings. I thank you for your attention. I look forward to your cooperation.
Another round hand of applause, colleagues. Thank you. Thank you very much, Chairperson, Mrs. Manyatula Khoza and Dr. Kitsna Sami. I think I remember well your surname somewhere where we were working together. And thank you very much for the good presentation. I think it is helping us as the province. It's like we are being inducted to say how best can we manage this forum that we are establishing today. And thank you very much for that. May I then request the MEC for the Department of Social Development, Honorable Khoza, to come to the podium and also address us. Thank you very much, Honorable MEC.
Greetings to yourself, Honorable Chairperson, the HOD for the department, leading all employees who are around here, especially the DDG and her team. Greetings to the Honorable Premier of KwaZulu-Natal, Honorable Sihle Zikalala. Greetings to the Honorable Chairperson, National Chair, Mama Unandi Mayatula Khoza. Greetings to Miss Mayangu, who's the Chief Director with Victim Empowerment. Greetings to Ubaba Ujabavu, Regional Manager with SASA. Greetings to Umama Uyolisa. Ngingakuvale ama angles Yolisa. Greetings to yourself, Sisi Yolisa Ndima. Greetings to Dr. Guru, our Central Drug Authority, and for your induction as well. To all members of the forum, I greet you all. Let me say in the name of Jesus Christ, because this work comes very close to the calling and the call made by Jesus Christ himself. Let me start by appreciating your presence in this historic gathering, which is organized by our government with the intention to safeguard the lives of our people and our citizens of KwaZulu-Natal. We are pleased to be with you in this event of this magnitude, to show seriousness in the fight against use of drugs. Honorable Premier, as we realize that drug abuse is the mother of all social ills, you can name human trafficking, burglary, killings which are happening, rapes, but each and every one is done by someone who is under influence of drugs. Honorable Chair, in July, police in this province of ours, KwaZulu-Natal, seized cocaine worth 500 million rands, disguised as truck parts of Durban Harbour. A massive amount of cocaine was found in a shipping container carrying truck parts destined for a truck sales company. We need to applaud our police who continue to work hard towards stemming the tide of drug distribution by intercepting drug networks and confiscating large drug consignments before they reach the streets. We have seen police intercepting massive drug syndicates in areas like Echatsworth, Espingo, Phoenix, and affluent highway areas that include Abokloof and Hillcrest. The Prevention of Treatment of Substance Abuse Act, number 70 of 2008, mandates the Department of Social Development to take the lead in the coordination and facilitation of the successful implementation of anti-drug, anti-substance abuse prevention and rehabilitation program, and to develop programs and support initiatives aimed at the prevention and treatment of substance abuse. We are tasked with the development of policies and legislation, as well as ensuring effective reporting through the development of accountability structures within the sector. The department is also responsible for ensuring working partners, as well as maintaining integration with Justice, Crime Prevention and Security Cluster Department, as well as civil society organizations in the effort to prevent and reduce substance abuse. The Provincial Anti-Substance Abuse was launched by the Premier on the 27th of February 2013, and the Provincial Steering Committee was established as an advisory body to the Provincial Anti-Substance Abuse Forum. And this time around, the department undertook sourcing AMA representatives to serve in the forum by calling for nominations using different newspapers. Kusukela mhla 5 to nomhla 8 November 2020, Ilanga, Isolezwe, Sunday Times, and other newspapers. We received about 18 applications from the advertised published in 2020 November. Out of 18 applicants, we received 9 honorable premier, which are coming from this province, because others who showed interest were coming from outside the province. We realized that it might be costly for us to be able to transport them to attend meetings in the province. But we highly appreciate that there were those who showed interest in fighting the scourge. The first meeting we are going to hold, Honorable Premier, is the appointment. Will be appointing the working committee. We want to assure you on that one. And we have just realized that we need to appoint, on the first meeting, we need to appoint the co-chair as well. So those are the assignments for the first meeting, because we are not here just to be here. We are here tasked to do some work to assist our nation. In addition to the participants, 15 nominations were received from government departments, as stated in section 57 subsection 2. that the representatives of the forum members must consist of government departments, experts in the field of substance abuse and civil society organization. Others, Honorable Premier, were from NPOs and NGOs who deal with anti-substance abuse. By the look of things, I'm very much happy because the diverseness which is showed by members of this forum will take us very far. And I see different generations as well. So we are going to make it, and we commit ourselves in doing that. That is why we are today in this venue with the Honorable Premier to launch the forum. With the launch of the forum, we have no doubt, Honorable Premier, that will be able to deal with the escalating problem of drug abuse. And as these people are here in front of you, Honorable Premier, we say, here we are as KwaZulu-Natal Forum, Anti-Substance Abuse Forum. Here we are, utilize us for the benefit of the nation. That's what we are saying as the team. The whole team is here. I want to let me read the names of the present members of the forum. We have Mrs. Maureen Simang, Mr. Victor Chetty, Mr. Bert Davis, Miss Carol Mbele, Miss Melanie Charles, Lieutenant Colonel R. Govender, Miss Sebenzile Ngubane, Miss Nchangase from Sanka, Miss Mponchane, Solid Foundation and Rural Development, Miss Bechu, Anti-Drug Forum, Miss Ngumalo, Asbahlenge Youth Organization, Miss Sahadev Sanka Mpangeni, Dr. Makaye Umzansi Youth in Business, Mr. Walton, South Coast Recovery Center, Mrs. Joseph Allen's Corporate Wellness, Mrs. Duplessis, Caroline Halfway House, Mr. Mpiliseni Mazibuko, Miss Sibusiwe Maureen Ngobo from the foundation, Miss Lungile Mhlongo Kwamashu Community Development Foundation, Mr. Paul Higa, Miss Ntombizandile Mapumulo from Religious Fraternity, Miss Zodwa Mchunu, Zodwa Foundation, Mr. Paulus Ngema from African Federation Chamber of Commerce, Miss Tabile Kojane, Miss Londega Nzimande from Nzimande Attorneys, Miss Mbolegwa, Disabled People South Africa, Miss Mchunu, Deputy Chairperson, Women's Forum, Mr. Mchunu, Deputy Chairperson, Women's Forum, Dr. Ngogazi, University of Zululand, Mr. Vincent Sibongiseni Hlubi, as in the last person who is present. But all in all, we have about 45 people who are members of the forum. And those are the members who showed interest to serve the nation. I want to say at this juncture, afterwards. At this juncture, I would like to call on the Honorable Premier to take the podium and launch the Provincial Anti-Substance Abuse Forum. And our Premier doesn't need any introduction, but is a very committed young, you're still young, Premier, young man. We have seen him running around the whole province of KwaZulu-Natal, and he keeps us on toes as MECs, and this is our Honorable Premier, Honorable Zikalala, who started with this for the love of the people at a tender age. Ngicabanga ukuthi uPremier was underage by that time, running with programs which seeks to assist the nation. Thank you so much, Honorable Premier.
Thank you, Program Director. The MEC for Social Development in KwaZulu-Natal, MEC KOZA, the HOD for the Department of Social Development, HOD Vilagazi, Mrs. Manyatula Koza, the Chairperson of Central Drug Authority, the officials of the Department of Social Development and all government officials who are with us, Mr. Chabavu, who is the Acting Regional Executive Manager of SASSA in KwaZulu-Natal, Dr. Kirsten Samikuru, the KZN representative to Central Drugs Authority, Ms. Ndima, the Provincial Manager of the National Development Agency in the province, fellow compatriots, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, members of the media, and all. We meet in this historic and beautiful city of Durban to inaugurate the KwaZulu-Natal Anti-Substance Abuse Forum. We meet during this month of October. And the month of October is not only known as the Transport Month, but it is also known as a Social Development Month. We are therefore pleased to be installing this crucial forum during this month. At this juncture, may I request all of those who were mentioned as part of the forum to stand up, those whose names were read and presented by MEC KOZA as she was presenting the forum. Can we request them to stand up, please? Can we give all of them a big round hand of applause? Thank you. We commend you for taking a responsibility on our behalf to lead the way in the fight against drugs and substance abuse. You may be seated. On behalf of the provincial government and the people of KwaZulu-Natal, we wish to congratulate all members of the forum and convey our deepest sense of gratitude to all of them for answering the call, and that is the call to serve. The launch took place under the theme, working together to build caring and sustainable communities for all. Recalling that we are in a year of Mama Charlotte Maxeke, this launch is very befitting to her memory as a pioneer and a liberation icon. Apart from prioritizing education for black children, Charlotte Maxeke also worked as a welfare officer in Johannesburg, improving the plight of juveniles. We have no doubt that all men and women, young and old, who constitute this forum will be equal to the task and play their patriotic duty like our forerunners, who include, but not limited to, fortitude women like Charlotte Maxeke and Mama Winnie Madikizela Mandela, who, as you all will know, was a qualified and a devoted social worker. 27 years into freedom and democracy, our enduring legacy of our ugly past find reflection through the abuse of alcohol in many communities and in black communities in particular. The apartheid state's rollout of beer halls in African towns was one of the means to generate income for their government while actively contributing to the destruction of black families and their communities. It remained as a matter of fact and recorded that the Western Cape farms came to be known for the exploitative DOP system where farm workers were remunerated with alcohol for the fruits of their hard labor. This was a deliberate attempt to engineering social exclusion, diseases, and addicts who depend on alcohol consumption for their survival. The problems of substance abuse have been compounded and made even complex in the era of our democracy. This deprived our people to enjoy liberty that was fought and won so hardly so. The proliferation of drugs in our country continues to be a culture, especially the abuse of alcohol in many poor people, as we see in the street, and we see even beggars. Most of them will beg, not to go and buy a bread, but will beg so that they go and buy drugs or alcohol. Addictions to substance abuse continue to tear families apart and cause untold pain to children. In the last analysis, drug abuse knows no gender, no class, no race, ethnicity, or creed. All communities suffer from it. With the launch of this forum, we place our hopes in its hands that it will succeed in arresting the challenges and the impact on the individuals and societies. We urge our children and youth to stay away from alcohol and drugs. The best advice we could offer to young people is that they should never ever fall into temptation of tasting drugs, because it starts with just tasting, which ultimately lead to drug addiction. Those who are addicted, including alcoholics, please seek help and regain your life. There are those people who live life that is no longer controlled by them. They cannot live outside drugs and alcohol. Let's work together to assist them to regain their life. The world of drug problems and response continues to present challenges to health, safety, and well-being of people in South Africa. South Africa has become a consumer, producer, and transit country for drugs. A drastic change in our approach to drug policies recognizes that a punitive approach alone has not been effectively successful in tackling and dealing with drug-related problems. In this regard, research suggests that emphasis should be placed on evidence-based public health and social justice principles that focuses on individuals, families, communities, society as a whole, and we must underscore social protection and health care instead of a narrow focus on conviction and punishment. We're not downgrading and lessening the importance of security cluster. The security cluster is important, but what is more important is to build humanity, social orientation that understand that drugs are a problem. The problem we face in particular, it's a lack of family values. Once we have young people who idealize and think that their role models will be people there out on the street, we then start to have problems. Fathers and mothers must be the must be the inspiration and role models to their children. Family values are important. So everything starts at that level. What is then produced at the society can be healed, but it will take time, it will take effort. And the best is to start at a family level. I'm saying so against the understanding also that there is no orphan according to our culture. It takes a village to raise a child. And therefore, akekho umntwana esike sithi ngoba akasena bazali akayiboneli. Emphakathini, we must embrace each other, sikhulise abantwana together, irrespective ukuthi owakho noma kuyena owakho. Coupled with that, social economic factors such as poverty, inequality, and unemployment remain key contributing elements to the increased use of drugs and development of substance abuse use disorders. Repeated long-term use of psychoactive substances could change the structure of the brain over time. And new evidence describes addictions as a disease that affect both the brain and the behavior, shedding new light on our understanding of drug use and the appropriate response. And therefore, ungabona umuntu eqala eba nokucabanga benefiye asebenzisa ama-drugs. Ungabona omunye eshintsha ngisho indlela aziphatha ngayo. And kumele understand that the effect of this, the substance abuse, is much impact on brain and behavior. An increasing demand of drugs causes an increase in drug manufacturing, smuggling through ports of entry, and dealings in consumptions of drugs. The illicit trade in psychoactive drugs and criminal entrepreneurs is a threat to society and the well-being of South Africans. And this poses a growing and a significant hazard to the national security, economic growth, and sustainable development. And I would like to just highlight one thing that I've observed in our society. Public education is so lacking, and we seem to be having adopted liberalized approach. We seem to be falling into a trap of business orientation even if that business orientation impacts negatively on the society. I do believe that the liquor industry has a right and should be supported to grow. But I stand opposed to educating and advertising liquor to young people. What we see today in our televisions, especially during the family time, between your 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock evening, where families are expected to be seated together, going through family issues, having dinner together, and what you see in our television stations is not inspiring. Most of the advert will be the advert that bears alcohol abuse. Now, we do need to discuss these things. They are really uncomforting, and they will obviously attract some attacks, but we do need to confront them, whether it is correct to accept such things to happen. Strengthening knowledge-based of drugs problem by improving data collection, analysis, and dissemination, including links between drugs and other issues, is critical to an effective South African response. The Prevention of and the Treatment of Substance Abuse Act number 70 of 2008 mandates the Department of Social Development to take the lead in the coordination and facilitation of a successful implementation of an anti-substance abuse prevention and rehabilitation program. The Act further mandates the department to develop programs and support initiatives aimed at preventing and treating of substance abuse. It is tasked with the development of policies and legislation, as well as ensuring effective reporting through the development of accountable structures within the society. And therefore, the Department of Social Development is responsible for overall ensuring the coordination together and working with justice, crime prevention, and security cluster. To succeed, a concerted effort is required from all stakeholders, be it policymakers, planners, and implementers. We need to work together to eradicate drug-related harms in our communities. With the commitment of the stakeholders, such as the department, non-governmental organizations, and community members, an effective prevention, treatment, and control of drugs-related programs could become a reality in our country. To succeed to fight the issue of substance abuse in our country, we also need to continue to support and consolidate the support from government, communities, and business sector to ensure that all of them provide necessary resources, infrastructure to fight substance abuse, but also we must be accountable. Therefore, effective responses to the world drug problems requires inclusive and accountability of all institutions, be it at a social level or criminal justice, as well as security forces. Studies conducted suggest that Wunga in particular is used most drugs in the province. This does not exclude the use of alcohol and cannabis. These drugs are particular concern because they are often used by children and adolescents, where rapid intervention is so required. Further, research shows that alcohol remains the substance which is the greatest burden of harm in our country. South Africa ranks in the top 20 per capita alcohol consumption worldwide for individuals drinking alcohol and is the highest consumption in Africa. Substance abuse destroys lives and communities, undermines sustainable human development, and lead to crime. Research further reveals many factors causing the abuse of drugs, and these factors include unemployment, low self-esteem, low educational level, as well as number of family and psychological challenges. Substance abuse has also a strong link with other social ills and chronic diseases. And among social ills, we can include rape and HIV and AIDS. But it also goes to cause number of diseases, including TB and others. Alcohol abuse is one of the biggest killers of the South Africans, and in our province in particular, it cost us billions. According to the Medical Research Council, there is a liquor outlet for every 190 persons in South Africa. So, la nje kunabantu bagrupe nje babe 190 usune jointi ke. And just imagine that. So we must deal with this proliferation of taverns and liquor outlets. Drinking can impair how a person performs as a parent, as well as how he or she contribute to the functioning of his or her household. Children can suffer also because when mothers drink during pregnancy, that equally affects the child. It is also a dangerous myth to think that alcohol consumption can protect one against COVID-19. Frequent or excessive alcohol consumption can increase the risk of health problems. People abusing substances, including alcohol, end up engaging in unprotected and unhealthy sexual behaviors, which could lead to sexual transmitted diseases. We have also seen a number of things happening, including reports of people drinking in taverns in groups and doing sexual activities in groups because they are influenced by drugs. And we do need to deal with these challenges. The problem of substance abuse needs to be addressed regardless of issues of economic class, race, color, gender, and the professional status of individuals. When we say umuntu uyakwazi ukuthi adlule umumazi agcine enye into kuyenzeka. Number of soccer players were destroyed by alcohol abuse. And those are professionals, professional soccer players. Number of lecturers end up becoming irrelevant because of alcohol abuse. Number of CEOs get disrespected of their behavior because of alcohol abuse. So it is not a matter of a particular class in the society. It affects everyone. Number of brilliant people, we end up referring to them and say, hey, why eshaya lo yamfu? Why yethu mebeka ipoint uyizwe? Kodwa uthola ukuthi akusekho point azoyibeka because useluze irespect ye constituents. So this is not a matter yani ye group affectwa poverty only, but it affects all of us. Compatriots, the Provincial Anti-Substance Abuse Forum was launched in February 2013 as the MEC indicated. However, there have been challenges with the functionality of the Anti-Substance Abuse Forum. At the Cabinet Lekgotla held in August 2019, we took a decision that the Department of Social Development, led by the MEC KwaZulu, should lead the revival of the Provincial Anti-Substance Abuse Forum. The said decision is in line with the provision of Section 57(1) of the Prevention of and the Treatment of Substance Abuse Act, number 70 of 2008. There is also a national drug master plan which deals and mandates the MEC for Social Development to establish the Provincial Anti-Substance Abuse Forum. And therefore, we want to applaud the MEC for the work done and ensuring that we now establish this forum. I believe should deserve a big round hand of applause. The representation in terms of the Provincial Anti-Substance Abuse Forum is also guided by the Act, as I've indicated. But we are grateful that following the Act, we've managed to get committed individuals from civil society, but also from non-governmental organizations and as well as the structures of government to be part of this forum. This launch, therefore, comes at the right time as the issues of substance abuse are escalating in the province. As we have said previously, the impact of substance abuse has also been felt as we deal with COVID-19 pandemic and gender-based violence. It is reported that during the lockdown, there was a lot of violence perpetuated against women. And this was caused, of course, by the frustration from COVID-19. But gender-based violence and child abuse, including killing of children, will also be coming. It's also coming from this challenge of substance abuse. The province has seen an escalating number of young people using drugs such as wunga and alcohol, not excluding cannabis, which is the most popular for learners. Most common districts that are affected are Majuba, Uku, and eThekwini Metro, where people would even inject drugs using common needles, and once you do that, transmitting diseases. In Amajuba, we've had a problem in one township of Osizweni, where young people would, during the day, as groups, will fight and kill innocent people on the street. And that tells you the level of substance and drug abuse. The challenges of substance abuse have an impact in institutions of higher learning, which is resulting to the loss of life. There is a serious increase in illicit drug-related social ills, such as drug abuse and associated drug use disorders, especially among young people. The Provincial Anti-Substance Abuse Forum is therefore a critical platform which will help us to coordinate all interventions and ensure that we have a comprehensive plan. And the function of the forum include strengthening member organizations to carry out functions related to addressing substance abuse, encouraging networking and effective flow of information between and among members of the forum, assist local drugs action committees, which must be established in terms of Section 60, in performance of their functions, compile and submit an integrated mini-drug master plan for the province, submit reports and input to the Central Drug Authority, and for that matter, we would want to thank the leadership of the Central Drug Authority under Mrs. Khoza for coming and being with us today and presenting the master plan. Members of the forum are expected to work closely with key stakeholders that are relevant, including law enforcement authorities and non-profit organizations to address substance abuse and its effect. In addition, the forum will also be overall responsible for the implementation of the master plan. The key mandate of the forum is to support the district and locals in the implementation of the master plans, and the key mandate of the local drug action committees is to ensure the day-to-day implementation of the master plan, but more importantly, focus on the mobilization of communities in the fight against drugs and substance abuse. So, we must focus in establishing district and locals. But to be effective, we need to ensure that locals are more orientated on actions and practical work. We must encourage community and stakeholder participation. This is quite key to succeed. As we said, the fight against substance abuse will not be only through justice and punitive in nature, but it needs all of us, especially local society, to participate and ensure that we eliminate drugs in our areas. We want to say, with no doubt, it is in our hands as the people of the province of KwaZulu-Natal to win this war against substance abuse. And I have no doubt that working together, we can restore hope and dignity of our people, especially those who are affected by this scourge. We invite the media, churches, traditional leaders, our artists, and other icons to lend a hand in reducing and capping this problem and saving our lives. Let us all give support to this forum and work with it to ensure that we turn the tide against alcohol and drug abuse. Let's protect ourselves, our families, and communities. Let us not also forget that the fight against COVID-19 is still on, and therefore, remember to vaccinate. Together, let's grow KwaZulu-Natal. I thank you.
Thank you very much. Can we give our Honorable Premier Alanda a round hand of applause? Thank you very much. I can see that as members of this forum, we feel more inspired and ready to work since the Central Drug Authority leadership, the Honorable MEC and the Honorable Premier addressed us. We just want to fight on the drugs that are affecting our communities. I can see Honorable Premier, Honorable MEC, that the members are ready now. May I then request the Honorable MEC and the Premier to actually give the members the letters, their appointment letters, because they are here, but they haven't received something in writing to say, you are the member, you are the member. Thank you very much. We do have the list as well as the letters. Thank you. We will ask you to come to the front as we call your name. Thank you. Isitifiketi. Ngicela ukunelisi. Yes, ngicela ukunelisi isihlanganisi kanje. Thank you. Oh, siphuma ngapha. Yes. Okay, Mrs. Maureen Msimango. Yes, mkhulu. Mr. Victor Chetty. Mr. Bert Davis. Miss Carol Mbele. Miss Melanie Charles. That's Miss Melanie Charles. Lieutenant Colonel Kavenda. Miss Sebenzile Ngubane. Miss Njangase Sanka PMB. Miss Mponchane from Solid Foundation for Rural Development. Mr. Mponchane, Solid Foundation for Rural Development. I remember you when we were saying why men are angry. Apologies. Miss Bechu from Anti-Drug Forum. Miss Ngumalo from Asibahlenge Youth Organization. Mrs. Sahadev from Sanka Empangeni. Dr. Makaye from Umzansi Youth and Business. Dr. Makaye, Umzansi Youth and Business. Mr. Walton from South Coast Recovery Center. Okay. Mrs. Joseph from Allen's Corporate Wellness. Mrs. Duplessis from Caroline Halfway House. Mr. Mpiliseni Mazibuko. Miss Sibusisiwe Maureen Ngobo from Osasos Peace Foundation. Miss Lungile Mhlongo from KwaMashu Community Development Foundation. Mr. Paul Higa from Jeep Pty Ltd. Miss Ntombizandile Maphumulo. Fundis. Miss Zodwa Mchunu from Zodwa Mchunu Foundation. Mr. Paulos Ngema from KZN National African Federated Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Ms. Tabile Kojane. Ms. Londega Nzimande from Attorney Nzimande LV Attorneys. Ms. Mbolekwa from Disabled People South Africa. Mr. Mchunu, the Deputy Chairperson of the Men's Sector. Bishop. Dr. Ngogazi, University of Zululand. Mr. Vincent Sibongiseni Hlubi. Mrs. Patricia Ballantyne. Miss Grace Mchali, Department of Agriculture. Mr. Thabo Tseme, who is going to receive on behalf of South African Youth Council. On behalf of Ms. Palisa Libenya. We then request the forum members to come to the front so that you all take a picture with the leadership. Huh? Okay. The photographers, Mr. Mloi, to assist us, and the team. May we request the DDG to join as well as SASA and NDA? Can you join the picture? Thank you very much. Thank you. May we be seated? We are almost there. We would like to request the forum members to sign their letters. We will then take them and make copies for ourselves, and then we give you the original letter. And thank you very much for that. May I then, as we close, request Umfundisi uMaphumulo to close for us.
Siyabonga Baba, siyabonga, siyabonga Baba, besingasukuma, siyabonga Baba, thina siyabonga. Siyabonga Baba, thina siyabonga, siyabonga Baba, thina siyabonga, siyabonga Baba, thina Yabonga. Asikaze sambona uNkulunkulu onjengawe. Futhi akasoze abe khona. Igama lakho nguAlpha, igama lakho nguOmega. Wena oqalile umsebenzi uhlala ufeza. Nkulunkulu omile ingunaphakade. Ungubayede igama lakho. Ungumdala wezinsuku owayekhona emandulo sekhona oyohlale khona. Nguwewedwa uNkulunkulu odalile izulu nomhlaba. Nguwewedwa uNkulunkulu osilondayo. Nguwewedwa uNkulunkulu osisekelayo. Nguwewedwa uNkulunkulu owasazi singekazalwa sisengamahlwili elithi izwi lakho. Before we were born you knew us. Baba wethu ongcwele sibongile. Uqale nathi uNkulunkulu wethu ongcwele. Wahamba nathi as we are continuing with this program. Baba wethu onamandla onke sibonga Nkosi ukuthi uhlelo luqalwe nguwe egameni likaJesu. We are praying, oh Lord, here is our premier. We bring him before you, oh Lord, in the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Siyamelana nalo lonke uhlobo lemimoya namadimoni obumnyama angamisi calling yakhe. Here is our mother uMamukhoza. We are praying, oh God, for wisdom oyibekile kuye uNkulunkulu wethu onamandla onke to lead and guide us in the name of Jesus. We are praying for all the leaders ezikhona kule ndawo. uNkulunkulu onomusa sibongile. As this committee has been appointed today, we are praying for your wisdom. We are praying for your grace. We are praying for your favor upon us. Whatever we're going to do, oh Lord, we are praying wisdom evela kuwe. Lithi izwi lakho uma sine wisdom, we are having everything that we need, because without wisdom, oh Lord, we can't do anything. We pray, oh Lord, for KwaZulu-Natal egameni likaJesu Kristu waseNazaretha. Siyamelana nalo lonke uhlobo lezimpi, nalo lonke uhlobo lemimoya elinganyakazisa le province. In the name of Jesus Christ, we call upon your name that is above all the other name. Yonke imibuso yobumnyama inamandla phezu kwale province, upon this leadership egameni likaJesu. Sibongile moya ongcwele, lead us and guide us as you have trusted us, oh Lord, to lead in this committee. Hamba nathi sisezo uzohamba usivikele emigaqweni usivikele kuzo zonke ingozi esingahlangabezana nazo. Udumo lonke silinikela wena egameni elinamandla, igama likaJesu Kristu waseNazaretha. Amen and amen.